Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Blaze cast presentation. I'm Blaze, bringing you a cast from the Defense 2. It is actually the first game that's brought to you in the knockout stages of the Defense 2, and it's a game between Power Rangers and Storm Games Clan. Now, Power Rangers is a team that was added kind of last minute, along with Ubilis. They were both added to kind of substitute for a couple of teams that weren't going to be in the defense as they had previously intended to be. So this is kind of not a fill-in team. I mean, they're still a very good team. However, they I don't know that much about them. They were kind of a little bit last minute, and they're a little bit lesser known. They're obviously on a competitive level, but both teams are not the big names that you see, but both of them are very high potential. Power Rangers coming from they're coming from Belarus and Russia. And then Storm Games Clan, of course, coming from the Czech Republic and Slovakia. So kind of a Eurasia type metagame between these heroes here, and I'm going to go right into the bands real quick. We've got Darkseer, Lycan, and Wisp banned out from Power Rangers, and SGC has Enchantress, Broodmother, and Chen banned out. So they're kind of gearing up to see what they're going to pick. Storm Games Clan, Dire Side coming out with the first pick there. But anyways, I'm Darkseer and Lycan, and then the Chen Enchantress are very common as far as bands go. But this Wisp band is actually pretty interesting. It's one of the newer heroes. Came out with the patch that brought Luna to us, and so for this specific tournament, at least this portion of the tournament, this is one of the newer. It is the newest hero. I'm recording a little bit in the future, and therefore I do know that there are heroes released after this, but for this metagame, Wisp is the new thing, and that Wisp band is just kind of one thing that they don't want to deal with. I love Wisp. I think he's a very dynamic hero. He's very gank-tastic, has a lot of different things he can do as far as lanes, and really set up carries or even just hard gankers to get global presence in their kill. And it's just a really nice hero there, but it does get banned out. Same with the Chen Enchantress combo, pretty common there. If you're banning one, you generally ban the other if you don't want the enemy team to have a really good support player that. But I'm actually surprised that Chaos Knight did not get banned out. So that's really interesting that Chaos Knight made it all the way to, I guess, technically pick number 4. So he didn't get banned out, and he did not get picked until the 4th pickup, but Leshrac was the first pick. Oh, one thing you'll notice from these bans is that it leaves open some of those really high tiers. You can see Leshrac, Nature's Prophet, and Invoker all picked up right off the bat, and Chaos Knight and Lone Druid to follow. Lone Druid pickup is a little bit curious to me. I'm guessing they just wanted some powerful jungler that has some pushing presence to go along with Chaos Knight. Chaos Knight's Phantasms do a fantastic job of tanking up the tower and just applying that much more damage pressure to him. But I guess the Lone Druid Bear definitely helps with that too, and he's a good Radiance carrier as well. Then he can also lane if they want to, instead of go for a jungle setup, he can go for a 1v2 suicide lane for specifically the bottom lane here, and then have maybe a tri-lane for Chaos Knight, or Chaos Knight can just do the standard Chaos Knight Leshrac duel, which is so powerful. He often does that in the middle lane to shut down the Invoker, but he can also do that in the safe lane as well. But yeah, from Power Rangers here, we've got a Nature's Prophet and Invoker pickup, super high tier. Obviously the Nature's Prophet having that global presence, having those summons, just so much pushing power, quite a bit of ganking power early on as well, and the Invoker with his spell spamming and just having so much utility, and if from a good player who can just micromanage those spells very effectively and utilize them to their optimum. And then Venomancer, a powerful laning support, going to get the powerful slows, 15-second duration on a 50% slow from that Gale, just so powerful, and he also adds to a nice AoE aspect with that what do you call it, Venomous Gale, doing a lot, not a Gale, sorry, Poison Nova coming out to do a lot of damage over time. Anyway, Shadow Demon and Tinker banned out. I'm expecting a lot of AoE heroes to be picked up. I mean, Leshrac goes really well with like a Sand King, or if they want to do a tri-lane anyways, they can do like Tidehunter or Sand King, even an Earthshaker, something like that. Or you might see that be picked up by PR back and forth a little bit. We'll probably see one of those heroes banned out very shortly, but I got a Shadow Demon ban coming from the Storm Games Clan, not wanting that to be one of their support pickups on the Power Rangers team. Couple of reasons for that. The combo with Disruption and Sprout can be really, really frustrating, along with the damage, just straight damage that the illusions do, combined with the slow from Venomancer, or from the the Cold Snap from Invoker. All those, the Shadow Demon illusions, setting those any one of those 3 spells up, or all 3 of those for that matter, can pretty much mean death on a hero. But Enigma and Morphling going to be the last bans there. Power Rangers recognizing the fact that neither Venomancer nor Nature's Prophet really has a way of stopping the black hole, and with that in mind, they don't want to have to deal with that and have to worry about saving a Deafening Blast or a Cold Snap or something like that for the Enigma there. So I'm curious to see what a build the Invoker goes for, if he's going to go for a Qual's Exhort for just that high minion power micromanagement where they can just do tons of physical damage. That would synergize well with Nature's Prophet, and then get enough Quas in there to make sure that Cold Snap packs the punch I was talking about before with all the damage you can do from Venomancer. But you can also see maybe a Quas Wax. The Chaos Knight specifically is very mana dependent, and if you do get enough points in that EMP and do land it on him, it's going to greatly decrease his viability in a fight. But now the next pickups are going to be coming in shortly. So now the bands phase out, and like I was saying, I think a semi-AoE lineup. Obviously the Darkseer and Enigma are banned, but you can still pick up like a Tide, an Earthshaker, or a Sand King, and that can be really, really well designed with the Leshrac. But really what I'm seeing from SGC right now is kind of a semi-push lineup. They don't want to be too severely squishy. They don't want to just go hard push. They got Edict from Leshrac, they have the Phantasm from Chaos Knight, and they have the Bear tank ability from obviously the Lone Druid. And so with those three there, they can do a lot of damage to a tower without actually taking hero-based damage from it. But they're going to pick up the Storm Spirit. That's most likely going to be their solo mid or solo safe lane. He's going to be just opting for a way to give them mobility, give them the opportunity to gank from a long range, and also add some nice burst damage and invulnerability to their team lineup. Just kind of thwart things. If the enemy picks up a Sand King, if Power Rangers does that, then Storm Spirit can do a lot to disrupt his eruption attempts and things along those lines. So that's definitely a nice pickup. Curious, yeah, like I was saying, I'm curious to see how they end up laning it, if they want to put the Storm Spirit in middle and put a Leshrac Chaos Knight bottom with maybe a tri-lane support, or if they want to put the Storm Spirit in the safe lane and then have Chaos Knight, Leshrac, dual lane mid, which would be really potent as well, especially, against, like I said, against the Invoker. But the Sand King does get picked up from Power Rangers, so that's what I'm talking about with that AoE combination. You got the Eruption, and you got the Poison Nova, maybe like a Meteor or something from Invoker, and you just get a lot of AoE magic damage that can be extremely, extremely destructive there. And so that's kind of what they're going for, is just some really high pressure damage. Not only a good push setup with the Prophet, Trents, and the Venom Wards, but you also got a lot of AoE magic teamfight damage. And they still have a kind of a carry in Nature's Prophet if they go for that, or they can be looking for, like, well, Morphling got banned out, so you can be looking like an Anti-Mage. You can be looking at a, not sure, Luna's obviously not a high tier hero you're looking at here, but you could be looking at a number of different options. Not a PA, they don't really have the hard support for it. But yeah, they have, I mean, if they want to go for different things, Faceless Void is still on the board, even if they don't want to go for that hard babysit aspect. But the Tide does get picked up from Storm's Game Clan, and that's what I'm talking about as far as the viability of AoE, and just kind of making sure that their teamfight packs that extra punch that they need to. It makes it much more likely for you to be seeing Quads Wex build on the Invoker, because that EMP can also really mess up Tidehunter, unless they have a number of Arcane Boots stacked up to go up against it, which they don't commonly do, unless Storm Spirit and Leshrac are both going to be going for Arcane Boots that they can transition to Bloodstones. But we'll see exactly if they have this. I'm guessing a support Leshrac, so he's not going to get that well farmed up, but we'll see exactly what ends up happening with that. I'm curious to see how well Power Rangers is going to shut down on the Lone Druid. Fact of the matter is, if he can get enough farm up and CS up early, he can definitely get that gold for that Radiance and do a lot of pressure after the fact against these different heroes. But Death Prophet's going to be the last pick. Interesting. I guess that might be signifying that Nature Prophet is going to be jungling, and then you can have Death Prophet and Invoker both going on their own, with Venomancer and Sand King dual laning wherever they want. But yeah, so we're probably looking at Nature Prophet jungle, just based on the lane setup that they're looking at there. Death Prophet and Invoker really preferring those solo lanes. Whereas, let me see here. Alright, and jumping in, I'll tell you exactly who's playing what. I'm going to go with, obviously I don't know the pronunciation on these teams very well, but I'm going to go with Kranich for the Storm Spirit, Tulex on the Chaos Knight, Offak on the Leshrac, on the Syllabear it is going to be Warlog and Professor Headshot for Tidehunter. And so they have their full team lineup, and they're all going towards the top lane, so this could be really interesting right off the bat. You got ZXC on the Invoker. You get the stand-in Wek on the Sand King. A lot of visual bugs actually coming out with this recent patch. It's just kind of a little bit of a spectator thing, but we do have a big clash potential coming up right here. Got the Gale landing on 4 heroes out of 5. Stun does go up on the Venomancer, and he's going to take a lot of damage from that Gush, but Chaos Knight has to watch himself. He's already popped his stun, and he's really low, but Venomancer is going to give away the first blood, and the Deja Prophet is going to pop his teleport and try to finish off that Chaos Knight, but they're going to be looking for the Death Prophet, who's really still out of position. Gush is going to be coming up right now. Nice with Strike Stun hitting too. The Burrow Strike comes, but it's too late. They're not going to be able to do enough damage, and actually Sand King needs to watch himself now. A couple extra auto attacks, and Lone Druid actually gets the kill on all 3 of those heroes. Nature's Prophet trying to get some damage on Professor Headshot here, but he's not going to be able to manage it, even with that Sprout, and they're going to scare him off, if not take him down. So he's going to have to maybe do a good Sprout right here to block them all in. He is going to manage that, and he's going to get away safely. But just really, really quick action. A nice attempt on the Split Earth down into this location here. If he had managed that, then he would have been putting him in a really bad position. But just the fact that first blood and 2 extra heal, you can see, I'll sort this to show the top one, but yeah, 300 on the Syllabear. He's got 845 gold already, and the game's only 20 seconds in. I mean, the amount of damage that he was able to do, just being able to last hit like a champ and get that much farm, we're talking about a really fast Radiance possibility right here. So, and he's got a haste, and he's going to be mobilizing towards that 1v1 setup against the Invoker here, who's opting for Quaz at the moment, which is pretty standard. So solo mid on the Storm Spirit, you're looking at a tri-lane with the Chaos Knight Leshrac and the pulling Tide Hunter. And they're all laning together trying to do what they can, but it's actually going to be a counter tri-lane. No solo Death Prophet. She's not going to be getting that much solo experience, but what she is going to be managing is putting a lot of pressure on that Chaos Knight, trying to do some long-range harass and that sort of thing, while they're actually pulling from the lane and doing some pressure that way. So it is going to deny some experience on both counts. They did not manage, in that teamfight process, they did not actually manage to get a ward in this location, Radiant team. They did put one here for the ganking purposes, or counter-ganking purposes for that matter. But overall, they do not have this pull block. They can stack it, and they can pull it, and they can farm with ease. And so that's what Tidehunter is doing. He's pulling this easy camp to the lane, just putting a little bit more damage on these creeps. And as long as they don't double up, they have enough space here that they're not technically doubled up together. And if they pull again with this double stack, that's going to entirely knock out the wave, and that's what they're doing. So it's going to deny a lot of experience from Sand King, and it's going to be high pressure on them. Meanwhile, a lot of damage coming out from the Syllabear. He's already got a Orb of Venom on the bear. He picked that up immediately, and he's just doing so much damage to this Invoker. He has Quaz, so he has a good amount of passive regen, but just a low HP right now. If he gets a couple more hits on him, he really has to watch himself, has to pop the salve. Luckily, the Orb of Venom tick does not bother with that, but he's going to be alright, but he just has so much pressure on him, even though he is an Invoker, which usually has a lot of lane control. He's going a double Quaz at least, and then we'll see what he's working on after that. But our Storm Spirit doing pretty well. Already started off with his bottle, getting a couple assists in that early skirmish there, and so he's going to be happy just getting the gold and bottling up runes and getting that early rune control. Nature Prophet does have a lot of potential to stop runes with the teleport, but right now just he's trying to focus on getting that experience, but getting that gold so that he can gank top and turn into a 4v3 when the opportune time strikes. But right now, Sand King's only level 2. His Burrow Strike range is really short, and he's just getting so much experience denied from these guys here. You can kind of see, we'll look at experience per minute. You can look at Sand King, Death Prophet, and Venomancer getting almost nothing. I mean, that's really, really difficult for them, and especially for Death Prophet, where she's got a rank 1. It says Crypt Swarm doing 100 damage. It's not going to be doing the harass or the farm that she needs to build up, so she's actually not going to have much potential late going on into the mid game. And she gets actually picked off by this Reality Rift, followed by a 1-second stun, followed by the Leshrac damage, and the Edict is just going to pound away at her. She does pop a wand, so they are going to kill her, and then Tidehunter does drop down. Nature Prophet teleports in, but they're focusing down the Venomancer, and Burrow Strike does go on the Chaos Knight, and he's going to drop down too. But overall, it's, 2 for 2 technically, and all the experience going in the favor of SGC, except for when Nature Prophet came in. So you can see on the experience per minute, he's Nature Prophet leading a little bit on the Storm Spirit because they're coming in for that gank, but Venomancer and Death Prophet still doing really poorly right now, and that's not something they want a position that they want to be in. 78 experience per minute, Death Prophet, pretty much the worst possible. Burrow Strike coming out trying to get out of a bad situation, but 2-second stun on the Sand King, plus the Gush reducing his armor and slowing him down to a crawl. Nothing he can really do about that. He was in a bad position in the first place. Tried to rectify that, but still being only level 3 himself, really hard to survive against that. So he's just going to be walking the lane with his boots that he did pick up. Nature Prophet covering the runes, like I was saying, with the teleport, getting the haste, and trying to deny as much bottle farming as possible. But actually, Storm Spirit sitting at almost full HP and mana with this Invis rune still bottled. He's looking for that level 6, looking for an opportunity to actually do some hardcore ganks with that Invis. But Kranich still doesn't have that opportunity just now. But he's heading towards the top lane, trying to do a little bit of taking a leaf out of the book of Nature's Prophet and saying, hey, we need to do some 4 versus 3 action on top lane. And if we can benefit from that, we can just really shut down this Death Prophet and these other two. Now, Sand King and Venomancer are really good laners, and they're coordinating really well, but unfortunately Venomancer getting picked off right here, and if he's able to do enough slow, but Burrow Strike does come in on the Storm Spirit. 1 second stun comes off, but just enough damage from Nature's Prophet. Wow, that Nature's Prophet ulti flying across and just doing so much damage, bringing Leshrac down, bringing Tidehunter down, just so much to it, and Chaos Knight's going to drop down as well with that nice Burrow Strike from Weck. Oh wow, that Nature's Prophet ulti was perfect. He must have hit it on bottom lane. Speaking of bottom lane, there's a lot of damage going back and forth between Invoker and with the Entangle proc, his Ghost Walk is too slow and he's not able to break out of it. He was like 1 hit away from death, and that Entangle still, I'm not sure if it reveals, but it does do damage over time, and that was able to drop him down. So really nice for the Bear, but not so nice on their top lane. The fact that Nature's Prophet sent that ultimate across and did nearly maximum damage, must have bounced it across all the creeps on bottom and middle, and then just barely hit all the heroes up here. So very well planned by the Nature's Prophet, doing a load of damage extremely early on to these low-level heroes. Their experience is split among them really actively, and it's, yeah, pretty painful for them. Anyways, let's jumping over to the last hits and denies. As you see, Invoker still getting harassed back and not having the best time of day. Over here, he's opting for his phase boots as soon as he can, but still having a hard time with that boots Orbit Venom Bear. But anyways, you're looking at leading on last hits. You're looking at Storm Spirit covering up now level 6, doing pretty well there, and then next Lone Druid and Nature's Prophet after that. So nicely played on the part of Dire covering the last hits. But the KDA actually equaling up back up to 7 and 7. They won that team. SGC won that team fight really early on and got 3 kills out of it. Very beneficial for them. But since then, the Power Rangers have been very effective in roaming, ganking, and covering this top lane, and that's netted them the kills they need to keep up with this game. So Nature's Prophet, probably one of the highest GPMs with so many last hits and kills. Only second to the Syllabear. He does have 365 right now, though. And actually some action going on bottom lane. Nature's Prophet poured in to kind of shut down the Syllabear a little bit, help out this Invoker, but he's not going to manage it. I don't know if he's going to transition jungle or make sure that his middle lane is covered, but he's got to be having to mobilize shortly. Yeah, teleporting back to middle and keeping that cover there. So right now, lowest experience per minute, you're looking at Venomancer and Tide are not doing too hot. We'll have to see how long it takes this Tide to get its ultimate up, because once he starts being able to ravage in the team fights, his presence just dramatically increases. But right now, he's being pressured back as much as this Venomancer has been. And Venomancer isn't really leveled up, in my opinion. That level 1 Gale, just being literally level 1, you're already providing so much, I guess, disable to your teammates without a Nature's Prophet ulti flying around, getting a few CS, and doing some decent harass while you're at it. But we do have 2 Lex bottling up, trying to make sure that he's covered in health and mana. But a Nature's Prophet might be looking for a teleport top. They do have an attempt on Tidehunter right here, but Burrow Strike's going to be out of range. Looking for the Chaos Knight. He is going to hit him. Did have division because of this creep here, and they're going to do a lot of damage to him. Got the Gale. Oh, it misses. Just goes wide, and they're not going to be able to hit him. Nature's Prophet canceling TP, and now Power Rangers has to be on the run. Storm Spirit coming in. He gets his Vortex off on the Venomancer. He's going to drop down quick. Rift going through, and a 4-second stun on Death Prophet. There's no chance he's getting out of this. Just going to need a little bit more damage. Going to finish him off, and he's going to drop down too, while the Edict pounds away at Leshrac. Actually, a really nice combo with this Gush, reducing armor by 4, and the Edict doing purely physical damage. It just destroyed that Sand King. There was no way he was getting out of that. So, nice teleport by Storm Spirit, and a little bit of over-aggression from Power Rangers there. Venomancer is looking for bottom lane now, but needs to catch Lone Druid in a perfect Gale. The fact that the Gale missed on top lane really kept that Chaos Knight alive for too long, and going to try attempt for a Sprout, but he's going to be out of range, and he's only going to Sprout the Bear, which isn't really going to help them much. They're going to have to fall back. He does have haste, but that tower is going to keep him safe. I guess an illusion rune got popped up on top lane. That was during that fight there. In the meantime, Chaos Knight coming back up top. Now he's got his treads, and he's probably going to be looking at either a magic wand or a drum next, and just kind of trying to do as much mana sustainability along with damage potential with those illusions and such. But we'll be seeing shortly what he's going to be picking up there. Tidehunter does have a bottle of his own, or did I just have a graphical glitch there? One way or another. They got a 2-second stun on Sand King. He's going to have to Burrow Strike out, but that Ravage going to say no to that plan as he just blows that single player Ravage up on the Sand King to make sure they get that kill quick. Don't have to dive, don't have to worry about it, and you get some pressure on this tower as far as damage goes. So if they can manage this tower, it's going to actually help them be a lot in their favor as far as gold goes. And right now it's being uncontested. The Fortify did get popped, but nobody is coming to help it out. And that Edict's going to drop it down extremely quickly. And tower gets killed by the creeps of the Dire. But overall, just a lot of good pressure there. Invoker looks like he's going Quaz Wex. But if you look at the gold graph right now, with that tower kill, they're dropping. They're getting well over 4,000 gold. Nice and Tangle Proc coming onto the Invoker. He does have Cold Snap available if he does need it. But Lone Druid is just free to do a lot of health, do a lot of armor, and be very tankable with everything. But Nature's Prophet coming in for a nice gank, gets the Sprout off, and now he's going to be going in. Reality Rift pulls him into the trees, but the Burrow Strike's going to drop him down. He's not going to be able to get out of there. So Sand King gets the last hit on that. He's going to be looking for his Arcane Boots as soon as he can. Nature's Prophet going to be looking for the push. He does not have a Basilius with him, just a headdress, but that still adds a little bit of push to the lineup. And with Death Prophet getting their rank 3 crit swarm up, they're going to be doing a lot of pressure here, along with these Venom Wards, which are also rank 3. So yeah, that's not going to take too long at all. They are going to pop the Fortify, but there's really very little the SGC can do with this low HP Leshrac and low mana Leshrac for that matter. Might be looking for a deny, but I don't think so. That rank 3 Burrow Strike has a pretty large range of presence, along with that rank 1 Sprout, just being very dangerous as well. So yeah, Regeneration Rune popped on. Storm Spirit is going to be looking for the tower kill. Gets a Vortex stun onto Death Prophet right when she was about to get that last auto attack on the tower. And through that Ball Lightning, Ball Lightning Vortex, was able to stop them from denying the tower. Getting that tower kill, even if it's from the Dire, he didn't last hit it, but just stopping them from denying it doubled the gold that his team benefited from it. And that was just really nice play by Kranich there. And was able to make sure that they got even more of a gold advantage. And so he's just farming up the jungle right now. He's got tons of mana from that regeneration rune he just popped off. Full bottle available, so that's what he's going to be looking at there. A little bit of damage going on the Lone Druid. He does have a lot of Cold Snaps going on him, but Venomancer just dropping low, and that Vortex is going to keep Venomancer right where SGC wants him. But Nature's Prophet getting Entangle Proc and maybe just a little bit of damage from the Storm Spirit is going to finish him off. So he's got a double kill there, bottling up, and make sure he's able to jump back in, but he's going to TP out instead. WEC and ZXC trying to get in there, trying to get on the action, but a little bit too late. This Rabid makes his movement speed a nice increase of 5% to make sure that he's very mobile, along with these Tranquil Boots, which already give him a large base movement speed. So he's not going to be in too great of a threat range. And Invoker trying to go aggressive with that Venomancer. That Cold Snap going and having for 4 seconds, getting a mini stun every 0.4 seconds, extremely powerful. With the Gale that was landed on him, but unfortunately that Storm Spirit was just on top of things in the best position he could be, and was able to make sure they couldn't capitalize on the amount of disable they were putting out on the Lone Druid. So just kind of keeping wards covered. Invisible Rune going to go on Sand King. Maybe try to go for a Burrow Strike Epicenter combo on either middle lane or bottom. But we'll see exactly what he ends up trying to do. Whereas Storm Spirit definitely building the Arcane Boots, building towards, and there's some damage going with the Burrow Strike and the Gale. He does have his ultimate up, but he is silenced by Death Prophet, and with the Eruption, that's going to be a quick kill on them. So really nice silence from the Death Prophet, combining those abilities together. But the Ravage goes off, hits 2, Poison Nova going out, Nature's Prophet dropping really low, needs to get away from Leshrac. Leshrac Pulse Nova going on him, last auto attack is going to finish him off. So they did take down Tide, they did take down the Leshrac, but Nature's Prophet does have to sacrifice himself for that. So he's 5-2-4 now, but they will have the opportunity to push this middle lane tower, and not much to contest against. Meanwhile, Lone Druid just kind of having his way, pushing down. Let's check on his gold. You're looking at 3,200, so he's looking for that Radiance. He's going to be building up to 3,800, and then he's going to get that Sacred Relic, and that'll give him a shoe-in right for that Radiance. Once he gets that, he's going to be doing a lot more pressure in team fights, not only every second, taking away, hurting the enemy team of Power Rangers, but also just the fact that he's able to disable Blink Daggers, like those picked up by Sand King. He's He's able to knock those off just by being nearby with the bear, and that can be really frustrating when trying to land up a blink epicenter. But also it just gives him a lot of farming potential. If you get stacked creeps or something like that, can really increase his GPM dramatically. Not even with, doesn't even have to worry about the Midas. Overall, like I was saying, Storm Spirit has got the point booster. He's got Arcane Boots, which have the energy booster component, can be disassembled. So he's halfway to his Bloodstone, is what I would say there. But Nature Prophet covering the runes well, gets that haste possibly, and yeah, that's going to be just kind of keep him mobile there. The Dire do see that there, and they're just going to have to be a little bit more cautious until Nature Prophet is finished up with that. But he did farm up a very quick mech, very nice item pickup for their team. Like I said, they have a lot of damage, especially with that Radiance forthcoming, and actually a bit of gank action coming from the Storm Spirit. He does have haste available, so really Kranis is the one who has to be careful, but he was just kind of scouting out and only took a few auto attacks, so he'll be alright. But he is going to go for a gank onto Wek, and just with the Q, he's going to do a lot of damage, and the Reality Rift is going to finish off the Sand King. So rank his Sandstorm not really doing too much for him there, and they're going to be looking for Roshan. Edict damage, Gush damage, I'm assuming. No armor reduction right now, but just the Lone Druid being able to tank it up so much, trying to get his bear to take aggro, and finally it does happen. And Warlock's definitely going to be looking for the Aegis right here. Just a lot of pressure there, and it doesn't look like Power Rangers know about it at all. They don't have the ward. They have a ward covered right here. I'm not sure if they smoked in, but one way or another they're doing it now, and with just a little bit more damage. The bear does have the Sacred Relic, and Storm Spirit might actually be looking to take it up, and he does. So he's going to be just doing that, so he can have, once he respawns, if assuming he dies within the next 10 minutes, that Aegis the Immortal will bring him back with not only full life, but also full mana, which just adds another bundle of tools he can use to thwart the escaping enemies. Storm Spirit, a great chaser. Whenever he has mana, he can pretty much stun or slow the enemy, make sure they're not going to be providing any problems in catching up to them, as long as they're not on top of like their high tier towers. But yeah, Ravage is back up for Professor Headshot, and they are smoking up to utilize that in a gank. Not sure if they're going to try just do it on a solo kill. They're walking right by a Venom Ward, but they are not detected by it because they're not near a hero. As soon as they get close to this Venomancer, they're going to be revealed, but that'll be too late. Do some damage on the Death Prophet, do a Ravage on both of them. Just damage going across from everybody. Storm Spirit coming in. Nature's Prophet needs to pop his ultimate. Epicenter with the Burrow Strike, doing a lot of damage, taking down the Storm Spirit and dropping this Chaos Knight low. He's sprouted, he's galed, and he is just dropping low real quick, but does get a 3-second stun onto the Invoker. Doesn't have any points in Exhaust, so cannot stun strike him far away. Storm Spirit needs to get out of there, watch himself. He does have mana, so he'll be alright, but he got his 15 wand charges and he needs to use them. Make sure that he gets out of dodge there. So low HP Chaos Knight, but because it's not an Exhort Invoker, there's no way of bringing him down. Really back and forth. Really nice play by Sand King from that position there, getting an Epicenter into a Burrow Strike on 3 heroes there. But they are doing some gag action onto the Lone Druid. He is not doing too hot right now. Still is really close to buying his Sacred Relic. Only needs about 300 gold, but with this mobility from the Invoker, they should be able to catch him here, and Nature Prophet getting the Sprout off. So yeah, Nature Prophet actually surviving for that team fight, dropped really low, but that mech has what extra 250 HP from the heal from mech, and then he was able to ultimate across and kind of turn it around a little bit. So once that Nature Prophet ultimate is a little bit delayed, having to, if you're using it in its potency, having to jump all over the map first, but after it covers a lane or two and jumps it back into the team fight, with just a little bit of delay, it can actually really do a lot of damage and be very effective in cleaning up. Storm Spirit moving ever closer to his Bloodstone, and with that's a little bit of denial on that Radiance, the fact that he has a Sacred Relic, but it still needs a 1350 gold to finish it off. He is a little bit perturbed by that, but overall, just farming well. 92 and 91 last hits respectively for Syllabear and the Storm Spirit on SGC, and they're going to be making sure that they got this bottom tower covered as well. So Bear Summon going out and kind of going from there. So really good GPM on the Spirit Bear, on the Syllabear. Trying to get a little bit more, trying to finish out that relic, and then he can just add that much more punch to the follow-up team fights. Most likely, if I'm looking at this right, I'm not sure. Okay, so it looks like Tide's gonna actually be the one working for a looking for a mech. He's got the headdress and the buckler, and then it's gonna be probably Syllabear who's gonna be looking for the pipe, so he can put that up on himself and just have that much more durability against the Sand King combo and the Venom ultimate. keep on forgetting that's Poison Nova. Anywho, but yeah, really the key thing for SGC to kind of keep the pressure up is not only to get get that Radiance up, but also make sure that these Ravages in the following team fights are really key. Tower does drop down, Nature Prophet getting the last hit on that, and that's not what they want to see happening, but they're kind of just doing a little bit of delay game tactic. They got their Bloodstone, they're about to get their Radiance, it's only about 400 away, but they're popping the Death Prophet ultimate. They're going to try to be forcing this tower. They have no Fortify, they're going to be TPing in, and here comes a big team fight coming out. The nice attempt at a Tornado EMP. Epicenter coming in from the Blink Sand King, but doesn't do that much damage. Goes across to the tie, but he is able with Kraken Shell to get his ultimate off. Ravage goes out, and a lot of damage coming from the Pulse Nova. Nice Reality Rift onto the Nature Prophet. They can get a stun from him. He drops down. Now it's Storm Spirit just coming across and doing so much more. 4-second stun on him, and Invoker's the only one left. He does not have his Invoke up for 10 seconds, so he cannot pop his invisibility, which is a little bit more slow from the Storm Spirit. They're going to be able to pick him off right here. Oh, come on. Just a little bit more. Bottle it up, ultimate across, but he does get his ultimate. They do pop dust. He do just have just a little bit more. Just need to get a little bit more auto attacks. Last auto attack from Storm Spirit. Good play there. So they did have the dust available. Actually, Storm Spirit was the one carrying that. And with the dust, they were able to finish off that Invoker. So really nice there. Definitely a one team fight for their part. And that's where I'm talking about the big Ravages. Sand King's Epicenter decent. He jumped in, and then he went across, and he was doing a lot of damage to Tide. But his stun cannot be... Actually, no Kraken Shell, never mind. But anyways, just a lot of damage to Tide, but wasn't enough to bring him down in time for that Ravage to pop off. So he was able to get that Ravage off on almost everybody, and from that the fight just turned really, really harsh in Power Rangers' direction. Just a lot of damage coming out from Storm Spirit, from Leshrac, and with that Reality Rift, both Reality Rifts that Chaos Knight casted. Obviously, there's a random component where it either he jumps to them or pulls them to him or somewhere in between, and in both of those he did a really good job of pulling them to him specifically. Storm Spirit has Invis Rune. He might have been looking to do something with it, but he's just going to farm up creeps. Might get hit by the Nature's Prophet ulti in just a second, but that's not too big a deal for him. With that 11 charge Bloodstone, having so much HP regen, so much mana regen, just kind of providing that much more pain to what he can do. So much utility, and with that nearly unlimited mana pool, not unlimited because he goes through mana really fast with this Ball Lightning, but with this very high regen mana pool, he can do a lot more with it. They're going to try to be picking off the bear here. Got Medallion on it. I'm actually not sure who has Medallion, if it's Nature Prophet. No, it should be Invoker then. Nope. I'm not sure who picked up the Medallion then, but no matter. They're doing a lot of damage onto the bear, and Lone Druid actually did get fully picked off there. A lot of damage coming in from the EMP and Death Prophet ulti, and but Invoker gets picked off, and now Tulex is in a bad spot. Has his Reaver, a lot of HP, but he's in just in over his head with so much damage, just trying to wail at whoever's nearby him. Nature Prophet now trying to get out of it, and with the last auto attack and Pulse Nova tick from Leshrac, he's going to manage. So Death Prophet's the only one that's really... and then... they're trying to finish off the Storm Spirit. I'm really surprised he didn't wand up and get out of there, but he does end up... Did he buy back? No, it's the reduced cooldown on Death Timers when you have that Bloodstone active. He sacrificed quite a few charges, but he's already back up and ready to go with whatever he needs to. That team fight was really back and forth at first. I thought that SGC was in a really bad spot. Chaos Knight did go down, and they did really nice initiation on the Lone Druid, catching him off by himself. But even without the Ravage, just so much damage coming out from this rank 2 Pulse Nova. Nobody's focusing down the Leshrac. One great thing about SGC's team composition, the damage from Chaos Knight, the damage from Lone Druid, two very important things to focus down as fast as you can. But you could say the exact same stuff about Leshrac. And Leshrac kind of sitting in the back and just being, well, not in the back per se, but at max radius of his Pulse Nova, just doing so much damage. Jumped to Tidehunter. He did do a Ravage. I guess that was a misclick onto creeps. Obviously no heroes there, so he just wanted to make sure that this ground right over here was covered by those tentacles to celebrate his recent teamfight victory. However, anyways, all jokes aside, he does have his mech finished, and he's ready to rock and roll with the next teamfight. That gives much more durability to Leshrac, who may be building the pipe, I'm not sure. But yeah, the one thing is just they're not really focusing this Leshrac in the team fights, and by not bringing him down quickly, he's able to use his full mana bar just on Edict, Single Split Earth, and the rest on Pulse Nova, and just doing that much damage over time in those team fights. Very effective, very, very destructive. So, along those lines, Sand King, like I said, does have his Blink Dagger. He's going to be looking for a BKB or an Aghanims, probably BKB against this lineup. That's what I would go. But they're looking to smoke up. They got smoke covered, and Pipe actually finished up on the Death Prophet. So Venomancer trying to initiate with a Gale, Sand King with his Burrow Strike combo. Warlock needs to be very careful here. He is very tanky with that armor, but the counter smoke up going on Chaos and everything, they're going to run right into each other. No idea. But the EMP and Tornado goes wide, and they're able to fall back. Tiny bit of damage, but overall, the fact that they lost, they were on top of this ward, and as soon as they were visible, they kind of disengaged. So really good reaction from SGC, and it didn't cost them too much at all. In the meantime, Boots of Travel finished up on Storm Spirit, going to be going for the BKB himself. Going to be really good against all these ultimates that just do so much magic damage. The only thing he's really going to have to look out for is this Exorcism ultimate from the Death Prophet, which does do physical damage. And as soon as he manages that, he'll be alright. But it's actually Venomancer with the Medallion. I haven't seen that build on him. He only has his wand, he has his boots. He's kind of conceded to the fact that he's not going to be very tanky against the enemy magic damage, so he's just going to say, hey, if I can add that extra punch of physical damage to the Exorcism or to the Nature Prophet damage, that can be what I'm trying to do here. So, yeah. If you're looking at the, as far as who's leading right now, Dire has a huge advantage with the experience, and also a considerable one with the gold. Just their team fights have been extremely powerful with or without Ravage, just doing so much and just doing that much more damage. And now with this bear having his Radiance up, it's going to be even worse for the Power Rangers here. So it's going to be moving more and more favor of SGC, especially when they're looking to cover this Roshan. Get a good timing of it, and if you look at the wards, only a Sentry ward here and a Vision ward here. That Observer ward should not be able to see exactly what's going on. Might have seen somebody coming across the top ramp here. We'll see Storm Spirit here, so that's when they're going to know. That's when they're going to have an idea of what's going on, and they need to start moving that direction really, really quickly here. The bear is actually doing pretty low, but he does have it off cooldown, so he'll just be able to Tranquil Boots that damage back up. But looking at what, yeah, there's a Tornado coming out, and they're going to be looking to do some aggressive damage here. EMP, he's not going to be able to resummon Bear. He summoned it once already, and he's going to be set there. But nice damage coming from the Burrow Strike, but the Ravage bringing out his Death Prophet so fast, just nuking her down. This Epicenter is going to get interrupted, and he's not going to be able to do anything here. Just so much. 2 seconds stun on the Nature Prophet, that's all they're going to need. Just a powerhouse. All these illusions. I believe he popped an illusion rune for that, plus a Phantasms. Nice little taunt there from Storm Spirit. But yeah, just so much damage from these Phantasms, from these Illusion Rune, and from the Reality Rift that brings them all together. Just single power, triggered strike right up on their opponent, and it can do just so much. So like, we were doing Roshan, screw Roshan, we're going to take your towers. Probably take a tier 2, take down a tier 3, and may attempt a Rex, but more likely they're going to just back, taking their victory that they did. But honestly, they're not even in bad shape. Like, they're all of them are good on mana, good on health, and they're really not too concerned about it. So it's really, really painful for Power Rangers, especially since they do not have the Epicenter available anymore. It did get disabled in some way, shape, or form, and or maybe Entangle proc even, because it was entangled to that fight, and that does interrupt channels. One way or another, it did get brought off, and they weren't able to do enough to it. Burrow Strike coming out onto Warlock here, and Storm Spirit's going to try to cover him up, gets the dust on him, Vortex, and he's going to drop down real quick. No chance at all. And that's going to force Invoker to fall back, as it does have Force Staff available. But just this damage from Kranich, so much mana regen just to be able to jump, Ball Lightning, and just be so aggressive, flying all over the place, and double kill them. They're going to say GG, go next. This is, like I said, not the knockout round. So they're looking at best of 3 here, and just well played by SGC, covering their lanes, doing pretty well. They did take a couple of hits on the top lane, but overall, the Silver did really well against that solo versus that Invoker, got farmed up pretty effectively. You can see this on the CS. They've been almost entirely leading on it. The only player, Nature Prophet, obviously being a little bit more at advantage on the creep score sense, but overall controlled by SGC very well, as well as the team fights. So just gonna zoom this across real quick to get to the scoreboard, and then we're... Sorry guys, a little bug there. Jumped right past the scoreboard into the next screen, but here is the final KDA items, creeps, everything. Just your whole scoreboard there. Thanks for watching, guys. Obviously, this is a Blazecast presentation. My YouTube channel is Blazecasting, and you probably had it right now, but in case you aren't, that's just to let you guys know. I'm a relatively new caster, but just trying to get better in the field, and if you guys want to leave me any constructive criticism or anything along those lines to improve, that'd be great. So thanks for watching, guys, and moving on right into the next game. See you.